Have the small tubing come up. It's 43 seconds. Estimate the length we need. Oh, there, perfect. That's Hey, what's up Aquamigos? How are you guys doing today? If you're new here, my name is Tobias, and today I'm making a video of this Rainpoint automatic plant waterer. So this is it right here, guys. So I want to give a huge shout out to Rainpoint for sending me this. They said they are giving me a code for you guys for 25% off if you want to check it out. I'll go ahead and have the link to this down in the description below. It goes for $40 on Amazon. So once again, check that link in the description below in case you want to check it out. So even although this is meant for plants, I actually plan on using it to automatically top up my aquariums. A lot of you guys are already familiar with my aquariums, but I have my 15-gallon Dragon Guppy tank right here, and I have my other 10-gallon tank over here. And actually, I just changed the water in these tanks. As you can see, I have the buckets full of the old water on the ground right here. Actually, what I do with these, I actually let the old water settle, because in that debris and dirty water, there's always fish that end up in the buckets. They unintentionally get sucked up by the hose, they end up in the buckets, so I always wait for the buckets to settle so I can see if there's any fish left in there. But anyways, let's go ahead and unbox this, and then yeah, let's go ahead and set it up. All right guys, so inside the box we have, of course, the water pump itself with a large display. We have some tubing right here. We have the USB cable and the detachable back hook. And in here we have a bunch of the accessories, such as the filter, the end plugs for the tubing, some T-barb fittings, some cross fittings, an anti-siphon valve. And over here we have 10 micro drip emitters and some zip ties. So in case you didn't know, I already own several Rainpoint products. They've always been really easy to set up, and actually up at my pool pond and my koi pond, I actually have the Rainpoint water timer hooked up to a hose which runs through my pond dechlorinator, and I have that thing automatically top up my ponds. So this is going to be kind of a similar idea, except I'm going to be doing it for my aquariums. Once again, it is meant for plants, and actually I do have a plant up here that I always forget to water, so it would actually be really useful for that as well. But I really want to use this thing with my aquariums, because every, at least once a week, I do need to top up my aquariums. It takes some time, but if I have this automatic irrigation system, constantly adding a little bit of water every day, I won't need to top up my aquariums myself. So I just went ahead and plugged the USB-C cable in so it could charge. As you can see, the battery icon is flashing right here. And the next thing I'm going to do is fill this bucket with fresh water. All right, guys, I have the fresh water right here. I already conditioned the water with my water conditioner. I use Chem Prime, which should remove the chlorine and also detoxify ammonia, stuff like that, heavy metals. And let me just lift this up a little bit more. Get it right on top of this towel. There we go, that should be good. And it's not done charging yet, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the water pump, and we're just gonna kind of figure out how I'm gonna lay this whole thing out. And I'm just going to start off by attaching the hook to the back of the pump. So I believe I just go like this. Yep, and there's the hook installed. And I'm just going to hang it on the bucket like that. And just to be safe, I'm just going to rinse off some of the stuff before using it. Since it's, the water is going to be going into my fish tanks. It's probably fine, but it's not a bad idea to exercise caution. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 4mm tubing right here, and I'm going to attach it to this filter. This is kind of like a little pre-filter for the tubing. So, to avoid sucking in debris and getting it stuck inside the pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up right now. I'm gonna kind of estimate how much I need, because we want it to go all the way down to the bottom of the bucket. So I need a pair of scissors. I'll be right back. All right, so I need to go like pretty much all the way down here. It's better to have it too long than too short, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right here. I'm going to attach one end to here. All right, got the tubing inside the filter, and I'm just gonna put it inside the bucket. Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom. And the other end, I'm going to put into the intake on the pump, which is the one that says in. All right, cool, that's in there, perfect. And I'm going to take another piece of tubing, and this is the part where I gotta start thinking how I'm going to set it up, because I don't want there to just be tubing all over here, like it might look kind of messy. I think what I want to do is eventually get the tubing to run along this back part of the wall right there, so I don't want it to be messy. So I wanna make sure I get that tubing long enough, and also we do have some wiggle room. I'm able to move this bucket around, so I mean, it's not super critical. You know, I need one tube to go over there. I need one tube to go in there. And actually the way I'm going to have the water get into the filters is I'm going to use these. These are called the micro drip emitters, and I'm actually planning on just sticking them right in the filter. So basically something like that, just as if it were a plant pot. It'll just be going into the filter like that. And hopefully it works the way I think it will. So I'm going to need one piece of tubing to go from the output to the wall. So let's just imagine it's going to have to be, you know, something like around this length. Can't forget this. This is kind of like a check valve. So this is pretty much going to prevent you from accidentally making a siphon. This photo right here in the user manual indicates the direction of the water flow. So I'm going to go ahead and take this tubing that I just cut, and I'm going to cut it in half so I could put this check valve in between. So I'm going to put this end here and this end right here. It's a little hard to get through. I'm just twisting it a bit. That seems to help. So this end has to connect to the output of the pump, and then this end, it's really important that you make sure that this is the right way, because if you have it the opposite way, water's not gonna be able to get through there. So you gotta make sure you have it pointed the right direction. So yeah, water's gonna come out this way. So now I need to install this T, and you'll notice that these two barbs are thicker than this one up here. And that's why they gave us two sizes of tubing. So this 3mm tubing is the smaller one, and that's the one that you attach here for going to your plant, or in my case, my aquarium. And the larger one is kind of the water that's passing through. So I do have to go to my other aquarium, so I'll have the other large tubing continue on this side. And once that tubing does make its way to this aquarium, I'll put another one of those T's, have the small tubing come up to the filter of this aquarium, and then I'll have another large tubing on the other side of that T fitting, and then I'll put a stop there. So over here we have these stoppers where you don't want the water to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up real quick. So I'm attaching the T to the 4mm tubing, and I'm planning on having this back here, right? So hopefully something like this. I don't know what I'm going to use. Maybe I'll use some adhesive hooks back here to keep the tubing in place. And then I'll have a small tubing coming out and making its way to that first 10-gallon aquarium. So let me just undo this tubing right here. Okay, and it's probably gonna need to be, let's see guys, I'm gonna put the tubing in first, and then I'll kind of estimate the length we need. So if it's right there, I'll probably need it to be probably like this long, I'm saying. Probably like somewhere around here. And then on the end of this one, I'm going to add one of these, I forget what they call it. They call it a something micro drop emitter, I think they call it. Micro drip emitter. Go ahead and hook one of these up, and then water will drip down here into my filter, and that's how it's going to fill up my tank. Okay guys, so I'm just going to take the lid off my filter, and then I'm going to stick this right into the top of my biomedia right there. I'm gonna see if I can get it, see how deep down I can get it. Or maybe, let's see guys, right here would be ideal. If I could just move this aside, oh there, perfect. That's going to be perfect. Here's what we got over here, guys. This is seriously going to be a game changer. All right, guys, so now I have the 4mm tubing again, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the other end of that T that we were looking at earlier, and I'm just connecting it there, and I'm gonna have this go all the way over to my 15-gallon tank, which is right over here. So, you know, I'll make it a little bit looser than it needs to be. Okay, let's just say like that. I'll have it end up somewhere around here. Let's go ahead and just cut that tubing, and we're going to add another one of those T's, just like this. Let me refocus my camera real quick. Whoa, okay. Hopefully you're able to see a bit better now. All right, I got that connected. I'm just going to cut another very small piece of this 4mm tubing, and I'm going to attach it to the other 4mm end of that T, just a very small piece. And then I'm going to take one of those stoppers that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to attach it. Okay, we got it on there. And I'm going to take the small 3mm tubing, and this is where maybe it'll be helpful if I attach it to the drip emitter first. So let's go ahead and just put that through. Whoop. Don't want to break it. All right, there we go. Just want to get this around here. Same thing, get it into the filter. It's gonna be awesome. And then the other end, we're gonna connect right down here, should be good. Right about there. And gonna go ahead and connect that right here. And yeah, we're all set, guys. Check this out. Now, I just had kind of an idea. So we got one drip emitter up there. Let's come down here. This is that T, just like a close-up view, because I know I was far away when I was talking about it. So yeah, we have the 4mm tubing right there with the stopper in it. And the other one I have going back here, all the way along this back wall. And then we get to the next T. And from this T, we have the 3mm hose going up and over here to that filter. And we have the other hose, the 4mm hose, coming from the pump, which is right here. And of course we have that check valve right there. I was just thinking maybe I should test this out by just running some water through the system first before I actually start using it to fill up my tanks. So I'm gonna take these hoses out of the filters real quick, just so we can test it out, make sure we flush the system out one time, and then we should be good to go. So I'll just have this one go straight into the sink, and then this other one, I'll just grab I need to get another container for that one. All right, here we go. I'll just have it run into this plastic container right here. Just flush the system. All right, guys, so I'm just taking a quick look at the manual on how to manually just turn this on so we can run some water through. So it says, make sure the knob is on. I already did that, the knob is on. Press that button, this button right here, to activate temporary manual watering mode. Okay. Press plus or minus button to set your desired duration. Let's do 1 minute. Okay to confirm. Okay, it's starting to water right now. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Let me show you. So as you can see right there, it says 43 seconds. That's how much longer it's going to be watering for. And if you look right here, water is coming out right there. And over here, water is also coming out this one into the sink. And I just want to double check, make sure we don't have any leaks anywhere. So we have this T right there, completely dry. Perfect, perfect. Let's check over here. No leaks here either. Excellent. No leaks here either. Everything is going perfectly. Okay, it just stopped. The timer ran out and it just stopped. And in 1 minute, this is how much water came out. So yeah, I'm just going to do that one more time just so we can be sure. I'll do it for a minute again. Okay, it's going again. Perfect. Can you guys hear that noise? I'm gonna put my microphone up to it. That's the noise the pump makes. Cool. Once the water stops, yeah, so you guys could see, guys, that's how the water comes out. And once this stops, I'm gonna go ahead and stick the drip emitters back into the filters. All right, just getting this one in. There we go. So as you can see, my aquariums could use a bit of a top up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set the timer for 5 minutes to see how much water that will actually add to my aquariums. And then I'll set a timer for this thing, like a schedule, so that every day it, adds a small amount of water to my aquariums. So I'm just going to do a little time lapse so we can see how much water gets added to the aquariums in a span of like 5 minutes. So let's see what 5 minutes does. All right, guys, so 5 minutes didn't really make a significant difference, but that's okay. I'm not really going to be using this for filling up my tanks. I'm just going to be using this for keeping my water levels up to compete with the evaporation. I have a much bigger pump. This is it down here. That's the pump that I use when I'm doing water changes to fill the tanks back up. So I think if I just have this thing run for like maybe a minute or two every day, that should be enough to compete with the evaporation. The next thing I'm going to do is set the watering plan. So luckily the user manual has a really comprehensive list of steps on how to do this. So I'm just going to do this real quick and I'll let you know when I'm done. Now there's also a cycle and soak setting, and that'll basically split your watering times into multiple shorter cycles, and that'll give you soak periods in between. Maybe that's better for, if you're actually like growing specific plants where you would need to do that. Personally, since I'm not actually even using this for plants, the way I have it set up, I think will be great. And I'm really excited to see how this thing does when I'm out of town. Luckily, I do have, you know, my dad, he'll feed my fish for me, but I don't want to bother him with like, you know, topping off the tanks. And actually, if I wanted to, this gave me the idea of setting up a system to do automatic water changes. I can just install like a small pump or like even something like this. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I can set another one of these up on my tanks to do like automatic water changes. And if I wanted to, I could even take that water to water other plants. Like I can have the hoses going up here to like this pothos that I have up here, which is actually in need of some water right now. Oh, here you go, Mr. Pothos. Have yourself a drink. So anyways, guys, just to recap, I have this thing set up to water my aquariums for 2 minutes every day at 11 a.m. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to Rainpoint for sending me this. This thing is so cool. If any of you guys are interested in checking out this automatic watering system, I'll have the link for it down in the description below. Once again, I believe I should be getting a coupon code or a link that'll give you 25% off. I think this will be super useful for all the Aquamigos. Regular price, it goes for $40, which I feel is pretty affordable. It's also rechargeable, so all around it just seems like a pretty good product. But anyways, as usual, I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this setup. And if you did like this video or if it helped you out, I'd really appreciate it if you went down there and gave this video a like. That would help me out so much. If you'd like to see more of my videos in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll go ahead and put my Instagram right here, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.